What's up, SatAttack Squad? What's SatAttack? Y'all see the title, man. Better check out cold cases that were solved with the same twists. Hey, we're gonna check that Road 2K, man. Your boy got a dry throat, bro. God damn, throat dry as hell. But we still on grind. Road 2K, this is by Criminal Core. First time reacting video on their channel, so we're gonna check this out.
33-year-old Janelle Melton.
See how it goes.
Lived
It's
in
26-minute video, man. There's two stories, so I might just cut it in half. I might just react to the first 12 minutes, and that's
New Jersey in 2009.
Depending on how good the first story is.
She had an apartment in the Brighton Arms apartment complex. Janelle worked as a social studies teacher at Red Bank Middle School in New Jersey.
Okay.
She had a passion for history and knew how to get her students into it. On September 14th of 2009, Janelle still had not shown up for school by 8 a.m. It was an important day as she had a guest speaker lined up for her students. The school secretary asked Janelle's estranged husband, Michael Melton, to go check on her at her apartment. Janelle met Michael after college. He said he used to flirt with her a bit. They started dating and got married in Jamaica in August of 2003.
Okay.
They both became teachers at Red Bank Middle School. The marriage was good for about 3 years. Michael said he wasn't used to so much affection or having someone love him so much. He had started a basketball company and was gone a lot. Michael eventually filed for divorce.
Why?
Janelle became comfortable having her own space. They were still cordial and spoke on the phone every day. When Michael received the phone call from the school secretary that Janelle did not show up for work, he immediately drove to her apartment.
Okay.
He saw Janelle's car in the driveway.
Imagine working in the same school with your ex-husband. That's crazy. Because they work at the same school, like you said, right?
He entered the house and called out her name. He walked into her bedroom and saw her on the floor.
Ooh.
Janelle had her nightgown on, and Michael saw what looked like blood on it. It appeared to him that she had fallen while she was putting her makeup on. He called 911.
What?
Michael said he remembered asking Janelle what she had done. He thought that perhaps she could not handle the separation and had harmed herself. The paramedics arrived at Janelle's apartment around 9:20 a.m. They immediately determined that she was not alive anymore. Investigators found that Janelle had been beaten and tortured over a period of time, probably to get information from her. She had been shot in the head twice and stabbed 5 times.
God damn!
Janelle had been
shot 2 times, stabbed 5 times. Damn! Relax. That's an overkill.
Twice and stabbed 5 times. Janelle had been beaten so badly that her jaw was
beaten, shot twice, stabbed 5 times. God damn.
In 2 places. Investigated badly that her jaw was broken in 2 places. Investigators believed at least 2 people were responsible due to the brutality of the slaying. The kitchen window was the point of entry. There was a footprint impression on the chair below the window inside of the apartment.
So how did this case go cold?
The kitchen had been ransacked. The cabinets were opened, and it appeared as if someone had been searching through the cereal boxes. It is believed that Janelle's life was taken during the night of September 13th in her bedroom. Investigators found a frayed piece of duct tape, which probably was used as some kind of binding. The duct tape had blood on it, and there were latex gloves found near Janelle's body. The evidence was collected and stored so that it could be used later. Michael was interviewed by the police, as he was the one that first found her body. Police first tried to collect any information about his relationship with Janelle. Michael admitted that they were still sometimes having relations. He said he felt like the questions were very evasive, but the police needed as much information as they could. Michael said he was visiting a friend on the night that Janelle's life was ended. His alibi was looked into. The police spoke to Michael's friend. His phone records didn't put him anywhere near Janelle's apartment on the night of the crime.
Okay, so
Michael also consented.
Maybe you could do a crime without your phone. Like, you know, like, you could leave your phone somewhere else because you know that shit gonna get tracked. So, that don't mean he's out the woods.
DNA swab. 2 days after Janelle's slaying, a newspaper article came out. In the article, it said Michael was her estranged husband and Janelle was found slain in her home. The article also mentioned that the divorce was to be finalized on October 6th. Michael realized that people thought he was responsible for taking her life. Michael said everyone turned on him. Janelle's family and their
Imagine not doing it and that all that shit happened.
colleagues all believed.
Imagine if you didn't do a crime like that and everyone thinks you did a crime like that, and it goes cold. You gonna have that on your image for the rest of your life. People gonna look at you different. But if you did do it,
was responsible.
that's crazy.
Michael's friend was an attorney.
I wonder how long this case went cold for. Cold cases is when they don't go solved for a little while, right? And in this case, they do get solved.
Agreed to defend him pro bono. He was told not to speak to anyone. When Michael returned back to work, he had a memo on his desk saying he could not teach anymore or have any contact with students.
That's tough.
Michael met the school officials with his attorney. It was recommended to him that he take a desk job while the investigation was ongoing.
That's crazy.
On November 10th of 2009, 2 months after Janelle's body was found, the DNA came back from on the duct tape. The duct tape had Michael's DNA on it. Janelle's DNA was also found on it from the blood that was left behind.
Michael.
The police believed that
Michael, what's going on?
Janelle had been duct taped to a chair before the attack. Michael claimed that the tape had been stuck to his shoe when he found Janelle, so he used his hands to pull it off, and that was why his DNA was on it. Realizing no one believed that he was innocent, Michael turned to alcohol and even contemplated taking his own life.
Oh my, if he's innocent.
There was also DNA found on the pink lighter, but it unfortunately came back as inconclusive. All of the evidence was transferred to the New York City Medical Examiner's Office for additional analysis. A few months after Janelle's slaying, investigators were still receiving tips. One neighbor believed he had heard a loud noise. One woman said her dogs were awoken by the noise. A tall black male that did not live in the complex was spotted near the apartment acting suspiciously.
Michael, how tall are you? Michael.
Spotted near the apartment acting suspiciously. Many people close to Janelle were angry that these neighbors had been sitting on this information for months.
I wasn't gonna say nothing because they came forward, but like, why would you come back months later? If you, like, you know what I'm saying? Why would you come out months later with such fact? Like, why would you sleep on it for 2 months or whatever, however long it took? Like, that shit don't make no sense. If something happens tonight and the cops are at the next door's house, why would you not say nothing? What?
People close to Janelle were angry that these neighbors had been sitting on this information for months. On December 3rd of 2012, 3 years after the crime, the police learned 3rd of 2012, 3 years after the crime, the police learned that they had a DNA match from the lighter. It came back as belonging to Gregory Jean Baptiste, a Bloods gang member. He was then questioned by the police. Baptiste said that he had never seen Janelle before and had never been at her apartment.
So why?
The police went in circles with Baptiste as he would not confess to anything. After 27 minutes, he refused to talk anymore. Michael reached out to a friend to help clear his name. The friend went out to talk to people in the area. The friend actually got crucial information, and Michael told police about what he had heard.
That dude got
Apparently, gang members were looking for a drug dealer named David James, aka Munch. David lived directly
next. A teacher had someone named Janelle. What?
To Janelle. It was a Munch. David lived directly next to Janelle. It was rumored that David had $15,000 in a freezer. His girlfriend was overheard by these people talking about drugs at a party. They ended up at the wrong apartment and assumed Janelle was the girlfriend of David.
Come on, cuz. How y'all not even know who y'all targeting, my boy? So now we just lost. Not we. Like, yeah, we lost her. But, like, I don't know what Janelle is. But the fact that she's gone because y'all picked the wrong target. Like, bro, that is just fucked up, bro. That just being at the worst. Like, that's not even. Like, what?
Ended up at the wrong apartment and assumed Janelle was the girlfriend of David.
That's crazy.
Investigators then went out searching for anyone who would talk. Finally, an informant gave them 3 names. A 4th person, a woman, was their getaway driver. The men were identified as Ebenezer Bird, Gregory Jean Baptiste, and Jerry Spalding. All 3 were part of the Bloods gang. The woman was later identified as Elizabeth Pinto, a former girlfriend of Ebenezer Bird. It was on December 1st of 2015 that a woman named
256 years later?
Scott identified Elizabeth Pinto as the getaway driver. Narika had been Ebenezer Bird's current girlfriend. She went to the police after hearing his confession during one of their prison visits. It was clear to the police that she had been very afraid to come forward. Elizabeth Pinto was interviewed. She was also afraid to talk. She finally said Janelle deserved justice and admitted that she was the getaway driver. She said that all 3 men dressed in black and told her where to drive. Pinto was shown photos of all 3 men and she was able to identify them by name. She said she did not know where she was driving to. She agreed to show where she had dropped them off. She pled guilty to conspiracy and agreed to testify against all 3 men. Pinto was also able to tell the police that all 3 men had put on latex gloves. Pinto dropped them off nearby and watched them walk across the street towards the apartment. On March 23rd of 2016, all 3 men were charged with taking Janelle's life, second-degree robbery, conspiracy, and unlawful weapons charges. They all maintained their innocence. The trial began on January 17th of 2019.
God, that shit was reached that whole 10 years later.
The trial began on January 17th of 2019.
I know trials take forever, though.
Elizabeth Pinto was the star witness for the prosecution. The defense argued that Michael was the real culprit. The defense claimed that there was still a lot of evidence that had not been tested. The prosecutors believed that Janelle was home alone on September 13th of 2009. Elizabeth Pinto went to the home of Bird's mom and found all 3 men there. They had her drive them over to the Brighton Arms apartments. Baptiste went in through the window and dropped his lighter. He then opened the sliding door to let the others in. Janelle was in her bedroom. Before the attack, they taped her to a chair. They were searching for the money and drugs, but realized that they were in the wrong apartment. They shot Janelle, probably so she would not identify them.
Come on, cuz.
The phone records of all 3 men placed them at Janelle's apartment.
Stupid.
They were all found guilty of taking Janelle's life, robbery, conspiracy, and weapons charges.
That's so fucked up. So she got her life taken because of someone else, dog? Like...
James Fair was also found guilty of conspiracy to commit burglary. He had been the one to spread the word that David kept his money in the freezer.
Stupid.
They were all sentenced to life in prison.
Stupid.
Elizabeth Pinto pled guilty to conspiracy and was sentenced to probation. Their crime spree, which spans over 28 years, is over, said Superior Court Judge Joseph W. Oxley. James Fair is serving an 82-year sentence from unrelated charges. One of Melton's sisters, Connie Sadler, told the judge about the victim's dedication to her profession and her students. Janelle was not just a teacher by profession, Connie said. It was her mission. I believe Janelle knew that teaching was her calling from God. Janelle wanted to do more than inspire students academically. She wanted to make a real and lasting impact in their hearts and their lives. What the three men did to her sister was a heinous and demonic act, Connie said. But, she added, I know Janelle is a Christian, and she would want me to forgive them. I pray for them, and I pray that God will have mercy on them.
I get that
every
part,
action has a consequence. Michael Melton went to rehab, and he is now focusing on his basketball spotlight company. He said that after
y'all, man, my boy, that's fucked up, because it was 3 years, bro.
Had heard about what really happened to Janelle, half of him was feeling relieved because they knew it was not him who did that to Janelle. The other half is feeling heavily distraught because she lost her life over some money. He said, now, my life is really not about me anymore. It's about working for the community and trying to help save people's lives. That's what gives me the peace and motivation I have each day. I was given a second chance, so I have to do the best I can with the gift I've gotten.
Facts, for real. This is story number 2. Paul, let's get it. I was going to stop it here, but the first one was crazy, so might as well check it out.
51-year-old Paul Stephen Jandreau lived in Moyock, North Carolina in 2010.
2010.
He had 2 daughters, Stephanie and Christina. Paul had been married several times. He was a retired Navy chief. Before retiring from the Navy, Paul earned the ranking of Grand Master Chief. Paul's brother Mike described him as a stand-up guy and had many close friends and family members. His wife at the time was Letitia Jandreau. They met in 2002 at a kickboxing class.
Ooh, kickboxing.
Letitia was 29 years old, a competitive bodybuilder, and an accomplished sportswoman. She even won the National American Sports Federation's North Carolina Bodybuilding Championship in June of 2010. Letitia worked in human resources at a children's hospital in Norfolk, Virginia. Letitia was described as very shy, but Paul really wanted to get to know her. He proposed that they become workout partners, and the relationship seemed to blossom. Paul had been married when he first met Letitia, but he was just waiting for his divorce to be finalized. Paul and Letitia were an unlikely pair, and the complete opposites of each other. Paul was outgoing, and Letitia was quiet and shy. After a few months of dating, Paul asked Letitia to move in with him. In May of 2003, Paul's divorce was finalized, and a month later, he married Letitia.
Shit, imagine getting divorced and getting married the next month. What? That's crazy. My boy moved on quick. I know the divorce papers and so he kind of already moved on, but like, you just got out of one situation, you put yourself in another situation. Not a situation, but one marriage into another marriage. You just got out of marriage. Why not just date for a little while?
Affectionate with one another. In 2009, Letitia started working for Blackwater Airlines and continued to train for her bodybuilding competitions. She had won or placed in the top for several competitions. Paul would travel to the competitions with her and brag about her accomplishments to his friends. On June 30th of 2010, Paul did not show up for work. He worked for a company that services Navy ships. He usually came into work around 5:30 a.m. and had been working on an important presentation. Around 7:45 a.m., Paul's co-workers reported him missing.
Ooh, that's quick. 2 hours in and he's missing? Okay, that's something crazy.
Punctual life, so his co-workers were immediately concerned.
That's what I'm saying, like, someone to file for missing person like 2 hours, like, that's crazy. That means you on time all day, every day.
Lisa Starcher from the Currituck County Sheriff's Office drove out to the Jandreau home to perform a welfare check. Starcher arrived at Paul's Brumsey Landing home. There were multiple cars spotted in the driveway, but no one answered the door. Paul's co-workers contacted Letitia through her workplace to see if she knew where he was. Letitia said she did not, and left work to meet with the deputy. Letitia allowed the deputy into the house.
Don't be one that did something crazy. Come on.
She explained that she and Paul slept in separate bedrooms due to the noise of Paul's CPAP machine. But when she entered Paul's bedroom, the machine was gone. Letitia explained that they had an open relationship and were both seeing other people. Letitia said Paul most likely just left on his own to stay with one of these other women. But after a few days of back and forth and no news of Paul's whereabouts, the authorities determined some foul play was involved.
Letitia.
Paul's co-workers came to the same conclusion. They went out looking for him and handed out missing persons flyers. It was clear that everyone respected and loved Paul.
Come on, don't
On July 1st of 2010, the police were notified that Paul's phone had pinged off a tower in Elizabeth City about 30 minutes from his house. The police canvassed nearby hotels and learned that Paul may have been spotted at a Hampton Inn. The manager of the hotel was shown Paul's photo and said that she saw him the night before and that morning. She said that Paul was acting odd. However, this turned out to be a case of mistaken identity. Paul had not registered at the hotel and he was not seen on any of the surveillance cameras. Later that same day, a construction worker found Paul's phone in the parking lot of an elementary school in Elizabeth City. The construction worker had called Paul's brother Mike Jandro, who said that his brother was missing. The construction worker then turned Paul's phone into the Elizabeth City Police Department.
Elizabeth City,
The police
that's a weird
continued to
name.
canvass the area near the elementary school.
Okay.
A utility worker also claimed to have spotted Paul walking down the street. However, the police were sure that it was a case of mistaken identity, which they would later be right about.
Damn.
Still on
Y'all
July
got motherfuckers
1st.
looking like Paul left and right. Damn, how many Pauls are out there?
Police received a 911 call from one of Still on July 1st, the police received a 911 call from one of Paul and Letitia's neighbors. They had spotted Letitia and an unknown man moving furniture from the house.
Letitia.
Man was later identified as Letitia's brother, 39.
Oh, what's going on, Letitia? Come on.
Called Eugene Askew. When the police arrived, they told Letitia to move the furniture back into the house. She complied and said she was getting some new furniture and taking the old stuff to put in storage.
Letitia.
Letitia and Paul's neighbors had also noticed that Letitia was putting things up on the windows to keep people from looking in. Letitia had
Hey.
used wrapping paper and frosting spray to cover up the windows. The
Hey.
neighbors and co-workers told the police that things in the Jandros' marriage had taken a dark turn. After trying to have a baby, Letitia had gotten pregnant with twins after going through several rounds of IVF. Letitia ended up losing the babies about 21 weeks into the pregnancy. Letitia had also said they were separating and both seeing other people.
Okay.
Paul's co-workers said that Paul had filed for divorce and wanted Letitia out of the house.
How would you give a fucking in a marriage 1 month after getting into it? Like, you got out of the other one, a month later you proposed to another one? Like, come on, dog. You gotta get a little bit of break between, cause you finally, well.
2 weeks before he disappeared, Paul had filed a report that someone had keyed his car. Paul kept his beloved Dodge Charger in pristine condition. The police learned that it had most likely been Letitia because the car had been kept in the garage. Letitia had mentioned this to the police.
Why would you key someone's car that's in the garage? That's just me. What? That's a what? I get he takes the car out and shit. He break like, but you keyed the car while what?
But never admitted to doing it. On July 2nd, Letitia agreed to turn over Paul's personal computer. But when the police went to the Jandros' house, she wasn't there. The note on the door said, "Went to River's Edge. Call me on my cell. Thanks." However, Letitia did not answer her phone. Letitia ended up calling
Yeah, get her ass, bro. She's sus number one.
911 to report that people were outside her house when she was not home. She told the dispatcher that she was in Chesapeake, Virginia. The dispatcher was able to trace the phone call from the Brumsey Landing home.
Okay.
Letitia was inside the house, and her behavior had become very odd. Just after midnight on July 3rd, the police returned to the house with a search warrant. Letitia did not answer the door. The police found the garage door unlocked, but it was barricaded with heavy garbage. They were eventually able to make entry and found Letitia hiding in a closet covered by clothes. Letitia was read her rights and claimed she had been hiding because she was afraid that people thought that she did something to Paul.
But I think you did something to Paul.
Hands and would not make eye contact. While Letitia was being questioned, other detectives were searching the house. In a twist, in the master bedroom where Paul slept, the police found blood spatter, a bullet hole in the wall, and a bullet skid mark under a rug. The rug had been glued to the floor. In the garage, the police discovered a blue tote. A shower curtain was taped over the top of the tote. After removing the shower curtain, the police were hit with the smell of decomposition. Paul's body was recovered under several layers of plastic, tape, and kitty litter. He was shot with a hit smell of decomposition. Paul's body was recovered under several layers of
I thought I misheard that. Like, I kind of zoned out for 2 seconds. But like, bro, come on, dog. Come on.
Tape
That's
and
crazy.
kitty litter. He was shot with a .45 caliber handgun 5 times, once each in the abdomen, chest, thigh, neck, and hand.
God
He had
damn.
about 12 lacerations to his head that were consistent with being struck by a blunt object, such as a pistol. His cell phone was missing from the residence. Officers discovered an assortment of cleaning supplies in the residence and reported that the primary bedroom's
Wait, what? Wait, I'm sorry. Why would you hide in the house? Like, you think they're not gonna come inside the house? Like, bro, I'm talking about this girl that killed Paul. Why were you hiding in the same house with the body? Like, I get, bro, you gotta just, at that point, you did it, you gotta just take all, bro. Or you gotta give yourself up.
assortment of cleaning supplies.
Or you
in the
gotta get rid of the body. Like, what are you doing?
and reported that
I'm not saying she should like I sound like a coach, but nah, like what, like I'm just trying to think.
Residence,
The dumbest shit she
the
did.
primary bedroom's hardwood floor looked like it had been scrubbed. The officers also confiscated spent bullets from the scene. They also confiscated duct tape, caulking, and plastic wrap among other items from the kitchen. Letitia was confronted about what they had found. She then spun a story about how she had hired several men in Elizabeth City to beat up Paul. She said she met random men on the street in Elizabeth City and said that Paul was mistreating her. The police did not believe Letitia and they arrested her.
Do I look like I believe her? No.
In yet another twist, after spending about a day in jail, Letitia said she wanted to talk. Now, she said, she did take Paul's life, but in self-defense.
Stop the cat!
Letitia said Paul attacked her on the morning of July 30th of 2010. She said he came into her room with a gun
If he did,
and
that's
said
crazy.
he wanted her out of the house by the time he came home from work. Letitia said she grabbed her gun, a .45 millimeter, walked to Paul's bedroom, and just kept shooting.
That's not self-defense.
She said they struggled even after he was shot.
Wait, what?
Grabbed her gun. By the time she said he came into her room with a gun.
Oh, he came into her room with the gun, so she grabbed her gun and ba. So okay.
He wanted her out of
I thought she said he said get out the house before noon or some shit. Like,
by the time he came home
bet
from
that he's
work.
holding a gun, Paul.
Letitia said
She had a
grabbed
line
her
on
gun,
your name, my boy.
45 millimeter, walked to Paul's bedroom and just kept shooting.
Damn,
She said they struggled even after he was shot several times. The police recovered Letitia's gun from her car at the house. The gun was registered to one of Letitia's boyfriends. Kyle Koenig, a retired Air Force general. She had stolen the gun from him. Letitia had been sued by another boyfriend. The police found a copy of the lawsuit at the house. The man claimed he had been taken advantage of by Letitia. Letitia had asked for money and claimed that she was pregnant with his twins. The man spoke to Paul about it, and Paul filed for divorce. A receipt was also found in the house for the purchase of the tote. Letitia was seen on surveillance footage at Lowe's buying the tote. In September of 2012,
damn, why are you looking at me like that? You look crazy.
Letitia testified at her trial. She maintained her story that she had shot Paul in self-defense. However, the evidence did not match with her story. Paul had suffered from multiple gunshot wounds and severe blunt force trauma.
Paul was a nice
There
guy.
was a bullet hole found in the master bedroom door. It is believed that Paul had the door closed and that he had been ambushed by Letitia. Letitia shot him several times and hit him in the head with the gun. The attorney and one of his co-workers also alleged
that shit's strong as hell, bro. She's a former bodybuilder. Oh shit, she's strong as hell.
The gun. The attorney and one of his co-workers also alleged that Paul had told them about one night when he woke up to find Letitia crawling across his room. Paul reportedly told his attorney that he used to keep the door of his room locked from then on. Paul's brother Mike said he had last met with Paul in February while attending the Daytona 500 stock car race. He also testified that Paul had told him about his marital problems and also alleged that Letitia was cheating on him. Mike reminisced. He'd been talking about divorce for weeks. He told me she was cheating on him and that he had plenty of evidence. He said he just needed her to get out of his house so he could have his life back. The jury deliberated for an hour and 40 minutes. On September 28th of 2012, Letitia was found guilty of taking Paul's life and larceny of a firearm.
Nice.
She was sentenced to life without parole.
Nice.
Letitia's appeal was denied in 2014.
Nice.
It is believed that she took Paul's life because she did not want to give up the lifestyle he had given her. She was a master manipulator and used Paul and several other men. As per official records, Letitia is presently incarcerated at Anson Correctional Institution in Polkton, North Carolina.
Hey, that's a W freaking video. Not a W because two people. I'm talking about the way that was set up, the way he talked. Hey, that was 27 minutes. That was quick. Road 2K, man. Join fan, gonna still that's a wild story. Your boy got a dry throat. That's how I wasn't talking much, but we out.